You are listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia Griffin. To master a higher frequency for a new state of mind. Once you walked in a forest of splendor in which everything you did and everything you thought was aligned. It is possible at this time to begin to return to the old knowledge. Intuitive healer and manifester Julia Griffin is here to talk about this unique time in history when all sentient beings, animals, plants, trees, and the earth are intent on creating this change. The wolves awakened her to the most incredible light, which opened gifts and brought knowledge that she longs to share. You are creators, and you are born to be creators of beauty, possibility, and joy. Join Julia on a journey into a beautiful and magical world where amazing possibilities exist. Let us help open the door. The Power of Inspiration and Awakening with Julia Griffin starts right now.
For the next hour, and let us help you experience a higher vibration and a new state of mind. For those of you who don't know me, I awakened with wolves. When I met a wolf, it talked to me the same way I'm talking now. And they spent years teaching me how to read the energy of the heart. And I can intuitively hear plants, animals, and people. I became an intuitive healer and writer as a result. Now, we always have a special guest, but we have a very special guest today. And let me tell you about her. She has spent 40 years studying yoga, working from the inside out. She works with the Kundalini Research Institute. She was a former Ford model and actress. She's co-founder of Light on Light Publications and Media and host editor for the magazine's annual yoga editions in partnership with the International Day of Yoga Committee at United Nations. She lives in Boulder, Colorado, but she teaches worldwide. She's the author of Light on Kundalini, Your Lifestyle Guide to Yoga. She's certified for the Kundalini Research System, and she's an ordained inner spiritual minister. And I think that's enough to tell them, but let's start with Kundalini in case people are not familiar with it. And then we're going to share some details of her Path to Awakening program.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to share my heart with you today. Just the heart, just the devotional heart. Our beautiful Julia always reminds us that she is the witness to the wolf, and must have sent the black, white-tipped tailed fox yesterday for me when I came out of the medicine wheel. I was praying for my son's birthday, and up I come, from deep in the forest to up to the dirt road. I live in rural, mountain, old historical town of Gold Hill, where they first founded gold. And gold is really, an essential part of our aura. Our golden, we have a mantra that goes, the Rayman mantra. I have a bracelet here that I carry with the mantra on, just to remind me that we do have the ability to create a golden aura, and it does.
Yeah, I live near a gold place too, like 10 miles from Dahlonega, which is one of the first places they discovered gold.
Oh, good.
And in alchemy, they have the 4 sides of the pyramid. Right. And they say when you can align your emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual selves, then you can create gold.
Wow. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Should we try that? I felt like we should just sink into that for a minute. Say that again.
Sure. And alchemy, they say that one of the things they do is to take a normal mineral, a piece of iron, a piece of lead, and transmute it into gold. But what the gold is really about is bringing your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, and your spiritual body, and forming the 4-sided pyramid. And when you can lift up all 4 parts of yourself and put them in alignment, they say you can create gold at that point.
Thank you. Did we all see that this time around? that delivery? Could you connect those angles and triangles of what Julia just described? Because it took me back to my daily walk, my meditative walk, where I integrate that understanding of each step, each breath is Titnahan, right? Julia says, inhale one step forward, exhale the next step forward. It takes 3 hours to go 1 mile. And it's useful for the brain, it's useful for the rhythm and the cadence of what you wove together with the mineral of gold. And your TTN here is gold, and everything around us should be gold and golden, and not should be, has a quality of gold. And then now, don't you all, I just see gold everywhere. I see it in your hair, I see it in your background and everything. I just see the aura of gold.
Well, it's
And
what we're supposed to lift ourselves up to. And interestingly, there is a good bit of gold in seawater, but they don't know how to extract it.
oh, right.
Yeah,
Well, Coronado Beach in San Diego, when you watch, it's all gold sand, golden sand. So yes, so how do we extract that with Kundalini yoga?
that's what I was getting ready to ask.
What a segue. I
Yeah,
mean, with the inhale and the exhale, the step by step, the metatarsal to the heel, the mindful placement of the so we don't get super overwhelmed with the outside world. We have to integrate the inside of our authentic voice from our authentic chakras, from the chakras are spoken about as spirals, right? You're
right.
used to no.
So for
There's something different that
Go
just
ahead.
came through, and they're hoops. So the base of the spine to the second chakra, negative mind, to the third chakra, positive mind, to the fourth chakra, heart, neutral mind, are all spiral. They're like spinning discs. And I just saw it spewing gold, because when we wring out the tension or the anxiety or the keeping up, we excrete these happy hormones that keep us connected with the joy and the light and the yoga of awakening is the end title of my book. It's the eventual steps we take and commitment we have towards ourself, and keeping ourselves healthy, happy, wholesome is a long early morning journey.
So you're telling people this is a good way to start because
Yes,
we are going through a chaotic time, but we're also
yes,
receiving more light. So the way I
yes.
see it is we have two choices. We can get sort of consumed by the chaos, or we can decide to move into awakening, which then somehow or other makes sense of the chaos or doesn't care.
It cares very much. Yes, it cares so much. What
Detached is a
happens?
good way to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, the
You
attack.
see it, you
Yeah,
know
you
it,
do.
but you're
Yes,
detached.
yes, because that attachment consumes the old subconscious patterns in the mind, and and really we're looking at generator, organizer, delivery now. And yes, Shiva and Shakti work as the Ida, the Pingala, the right left hemisphere of the brain, the
Okay, so let's say
female,
it in
the
a way
masculine.
that they can follow you with it. What would be the right and the left sides of the brain? What
So
would
the
be
right side is the masculine,
right?
and the left side is the feminine. And with the nostril breathing, like the breath of fire through the nostrils or through the navel point, when you generate, organize, and deliver a specific breath, prana, you go straight up below the lower chakras that keep us grounded. So the chakras that keep us grounded are activated through the nostril breath. which is the Ida, and the Pingula, which runs up and down the right left side of the spine. And that spirals. And then you come to the heart center. You center there, and that's the Sushmana. And that's where you want to speak from. That's where you want to come, if you want to be heard, as you've just correctly asked, how do we see that in an everyday world? Well, do we not have a right and a left side, all of us? We have that in common, no matter what our gender, is we're right and we're left. And if we can understand the right side of the brain with the left energetic, and the right side of the body with the left side of the brain, we'll balance.
And that's what we find in the heart chakra, because it's in the center of the system. We've got 3 chakras above it and 3 below.
Yes.
So if we're in the heart, our energy is balanced.
Thank you. Thank you. And
I was just going to say, when you do speak through the heart, it is such a surprise, because you're saying things you wouldn't normally say, and you can even say them in a soft voice and everyone hears it. It has a completely different effect on life.
And it has a cooling effect, not only calming, but cools the body down. So when we go into the nutritional part of the diet, the cucumber, the celery, the body needs to be cooled down, because the fire, the Leo we're in right now, that fire sign is sparky, no? I mean,
Yes.
look at the equinox, and look, coming, and the eclipse. Look at the eclipse. It's so vital to understand the cosmos and the planets integrated into your yoga practice. Fun stuff.
This would be one of the things they would learn in your path of awakening.
Yes.
So let's talk about the program just a little bit, so people can understand where you would take them.
Yes, love to. So the mind is what we're working with here on the 81 facets. And the 81 facets has its projections, and it has its tendencies to throw us into an old curriculum, if you like, an old pattern. You could call it subconscious, conscious, unconscious. You can call it all the science you want. It's pretty practical. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking about how those patterns are also written in your body.
Oh, sweetheart, so written, so written. I went to a reunion recently, and I said to everyone, "What are you doing? Tell me all about you." And they were like, "I'm retired." And I'm like, "You're kidding." Oh, we're supposed to do that? Oh, at 55, we're supposed to do that? Really? And then our poor dog gets all our energy, right? Oh, you're still home? You're not doing anything? I just want to sleep. Leave me alone. But it's really how you keep your energy awakened enough to live through your 50s, 60s, 70s with the brain intact, with the mind intact. And there's a responsibility to all of this. So there's the defender, there's the manager, there's the preserver. And those are all in the negative mind, the second chakra we spoke of. The third chakra is the positive mind, and they have the artist, the producer, and the missionary. And then there's 4 meditations that go with each one of these aspects. And then the last 3 aspects is the strategist, for the great leader, and the teacher. And that's the 9 aspects. So what we do is we call out, if one of those resonated with you, Julia, would it be the defender, manager, preserver? Would it be the artist, producer, missionary? It would be a
real balancing between those 2 things, because I love being creative, but if I start, I can't stop.
Yes. So you'd find that the strategist might be something that, or the missionary might be something that would balance between the artist and the other you were speaking of.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or,
So
or to
then you would
preserve, because certainly when I'm creative, everything
preserve.
goes everywhere.
My son, Mama, you're such a preserver. I'm like, well, I restore a lot,
Yeah.
everything. And it does start with your own furniture and how you polish yourself when you polish the wood,
Hmm.
and you shine, you shine your copper. It's just all, and
Well,
those are
that
all
is
these
bringing out the
elements.
inner beauty of something that exists.
Yes, and this is the course. So there's 9 aspects, 27 projections. So we have 4 meditations per aspect. So just for an example, if you were feeling super defensive, you would call out, Karuna, I want the defender today. I want to work with the defender. And I would say, great, we're going to work with the soldier, we're going to work with the ombudsman, and we're going to work with the prospector. But we're going to first work on the defender, and we're going to do a specific meditation, only 3 minutes, to get you right to there, so that maybe in your Buddhist or other practices, you don't believe in mantra. You don't believe in chanting. You don't believe in what I do with you with the gong is going to raise your vibration. It's okay. It's okay. Eventually, you might just say, and I answered this question the other day with a really strong Buddhist practitioner. I said, just take it to devotion. Doesn't a song make you feel fabulous
Hmm.
or sad or make you feel something? And she goes, gosh, I could really do that. I can do that. So there's a way through every block. And we do it with the mind course. And that's the 81 facets. And then, Julia, we have the healing grief. That is an add-on that you can take during this course. So this course is 12 weeks. We have another 6-week course of healing grief where we get into that beautiful place where you're stuck. And I call it beautiful because it's a gift to understand I'm stuck. That's the first door opening, is
Yeah.
admitting.
And I think in all spiritual work, people will say, how can I become more intuitive? And I'll say, observe more.
Thank you. And observe from spirit versus ego.
Right. And if I'm in a pattern, I'm in a pattern. It's where I'll live for a few hours. I can observe it and change it.
And excite yourself that you will. And that's the biggest thing, Julia. We see change. We say, oh my gosh, I haven't attracted that same person for the last year and a half. Wow, I've
Yeah.
moved on. And
Hmm.
maybe it takes 6 months to understand what you're doing here. But it doesn't take 22 years like a
No.
yogic practice
No.
does. We don't have time. And as a matter of fact, the physical body says, give me a
We have
break.
a physical body and we have our spiritual propensity to connect to the light. And you put those
Oh,
things together and it's powerful.
so gorgeous what you say. Don't we just want to hear Julia repeat everything she says? Are you with me on that? I mean, the light on Kundalini. Yes, it's Kundalini, but no, not only. It's lifestyle now, Julia. I had to bring Path of Awakening out with the begin, the deepen, the transform, and the fourth is to lead. And that's exactly, the leader is the 8 aspect, which below it has the protector, the commander, and the pathfinder in its meditations. So we connect to the protector. So we put mantra, perhaps Adgade Name, Jugadgade Name, Satgade Name, Siddhigurudeve Name. All these are super easy to learn. And they mean something. True in the beginning, true through all times, true even now. Nanak says will always be true.
I
This
think
is
the
old.
really good thing about mantra too is you can make a mistake with it and it's self-correcting. After a while, it will hit you. Oh, I left that part out, or oh, I mispronounced this. And you just know it.
You just feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it. And that knowledge, that one, of those 4 steps of who I am, who am I? Am I the critic right now? Is there really anything called a mistake anymore? It is just a mistake. Oh, good. I don't have to beat myself up or stay up all night, create these habits to get me to go to sleep. So I talk a lot on the YouTube channel. There's some new interviews there about medicating and meditating. And I learned this 15 years ago when the Dalai Lama was in Washington, D.C. And I was his guest with one of his, people who support him, his donators. And we sat in the company of the Dalai Lama for 3 days. And he spoke with scientists, researchers, everyone to do with pharmaceuticals. And he said, it's okay. And I say, and I agree. And I've tested the water since. Yes, medication is necessary, but meditation gives you permission to honor how you're trying to heal and take care of yourself. And you know what happens? Suddenly, like we just said, things dissolve and change.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need it anymore, perhaps, but get the doctor to tell you that. The
Right.
doctor will be
Yeah.
your
And I
first
will tell
guide.
you a funny story about the Dalai Lama. A good friend of mine had an audience with him, and he told him all of his problems and how all of his life was going. And he said he was quiet for about 3 minutes, and he looked at him and he said, "What if you were happy now?"
Yes, yes. And that brings me to what one feels after a session of the mind. When you start this course, and you can start with me on September 22nd. I launched it on 8/8 Lionsgate. I've been working on it since February. Actually, it was activated at the UN in October with the ELs, with our committee, to bring Yoga Day, International Yoga Day, back into play. And we play. We play
Mhm.
in this course. We engage, we speak. And if you don't want to speak, you don't. But you feel what you just described, the Dalai Lama said. What if you feel happy right now?
Yeah, because that's where happiness starts, is in the moment. Just
Yeah.
a few moments of being happy, and it's certainly making me happy to talk to you now, but it
Oh,
alters the flow of your day.
yes, you're right. Don't we love this woman so much? Oh my gosh.
Well,
Julia,
that's why we're
to
talking about
remember.
awakening, and that's why you're offering this, is
Yeah,
because it's a transformation from what
yes,
everyday life is right now, that if
yes,
you're just in your mind or emotions, it certainly can't make you happy, to
yes.
moving to a higher place where happiness returns to you.
Yes, yes. And then creating an event, creating something like these 81 facets to help each other become happy, to honor that, to have a party, a celebration at the end of this 12-week series where we all come together on top of this mountain and we tell our stories and we have, a beautiful feast and we take, time to really settle in. So there's a ongoing, because on top of the healing grief, we add the 10 bodies. So we add the 10 bodies so we understand there's 7 chakras: soul, body, negative, positive, neutral, mind. Then there's the physical body, the intuition, the aura. The eighth body's the prana, the breath. The ninth body, subtle. And the 10th body is radiant body. It is today you are radiant. Not tomorrow, or I'm going to become, or let me just lose 20 pounds. All that is your continuing pattern of repeating, which is necessary in meditation and mantra to repeat, but not the negative stuff.
Right.
Let's repeat the juga juga, juga juga. If you just say juga juga, it does something. If you say Rama, Rama dasa sa se so hung, it opened my temples, it opened my inner ear, it put a vibration. And what does it mean? The sun and the moon come together and we dance in delight. And yes, there's sadness. Yes, there's dropping of all that, melting down like wax into the earth again, and then restoring. So after we do the 12 weeks and we add the healing grief and we add the 10 bodies, in January we do the rebirthings. 33 rebirthings. One right after the other, once a week. We just pile through our stuff that the virus residue might not have got to. And that's the course, because when you said transform, we transform with the rebirthings.
And we become more of who we truly are, because I was thinking when you talk about the radiance, every now and then a tree will show me its radiance. And I was telling the student that. I said that would be a good way for you to develop your intuitive gifts, because you already have a thing going with trees. And she said, well, do they do this often? And I said, yeah, if you ask them to, they'll show themselves to you, but they don't want just everyone to see them.
Connection you're talking about, whatever I can lean into and hug, that's a safety for me.
Mm-hmm.
When, practitioners that have practiced and gone to India and done so much come up to me and go, you made me feel safe. Ha ha ha. My job is done. It's like the conservation easement I put around this property, so we wouldn't destroy Mother Earth anymore and build on her. Let her breathe.
I should add, this is one more reason that we are doing this kind of work and talking about it, is because it builds the earth. We may not see that yet, but it is happening.
Yes. And then the four-legged winged ones, plant kingdom, all those that creep and crawl and fly, come. And guess what? They chat with you. And they do prayer pose.
Mm-hmm.
Check out a chipmunk on 2s, not 4s. And he gets up and he says to the hummingbird, what's up? And you get to see this because you give it time.
And you see it a different way. Okay, it's time for us to go to break. So you're watching the Power of Inspiration and Awakening show with Julia Griffin. And I have my wonderful guest, Karuna. We're talking about awakening. And when we come back, she'll tell us more about her class, The Path to Awakening. And whether or not you're drawn in that direction, you should certainly hear what we're saying, because it will help you with opening and feeling life. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. I'm Julia Griffin, and you're listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening show on Transformation Talk Revolution. And I'm here today with Karuna, and we are talking about the changes that come with awakening, some of the different things you can do to get yourself there, what light is in spiritual work. And Karuna has a course that is a very good way to get into the discipline of this. And so my first question is, what is the difference between discipline and devotion? And I'll explain it to you. I actually have a family member who was doing a lot more yoga than I was. And she said, Nothing's changed. She said, why does your body stay the same for the last 20 years or so? And I couldn't answer her question. And so I've been meditating on it since Memorial Day. In a couple weeks, it hit me because I thought about doing a difficult pose and not being flexible. And then I remembered what it's like when like the universe just sends the energy through your body and you can do it. And I heard that's devotion.
Wow, I love that. I love people asking us these questions. You and I, we love all of us just to dive into something that we can, the younger ones that are really listening more so than speaking even
Right.
are just the nice little question like that one. Because when we fall into devotion, and the devotee is the devotion part of it, so we become identified. There's many different types of yogis, and so I have been identified before as a bhakti yogi, a devotional yogi. And I am that for sure. I started, defending friends from day one in elementary school, and they still tell the story of how it changed their life, of me meeting someone who was bullying them in the alley. And I don't think I drew blood, but he never bothered her again. And she today tells me about this and reminded me about this. And it just wove in why I am a bhakti yogi, a devotional yogi. And it's not, it's not necessarily to go to church for me, which drives, the parents crazy, like mad, because there's no institution around me except nature. And I found my church is in nature and at the banks of the Mother Ganges in India, and sacred sites just in my backyard.
Mhm.
I had to, because, raising a family and understanding the ups and downs of relationships, and everything's drawn into devotion. And ask yourself this, every one of us, am I walking what the Native Americans call the red road, the path that is honest for myself? Or am I biting the bit and
Mhm.
not saying how I feel and keeping me up at night? So there's a practice, it's called the chakra balance meditation. And it's simply, bringing your left hand into a palm, wrapping your right hand over into like a cinnamon roll, crossing your right thumb over your left, putting it at your heart, and simply chanting in 4 rounds, Hari Hud, 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 Hari Hud. And so suddenly now I'm on my horse Chief, and we're going Hari Hud, 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 Hari Hud. And Hud is the tip of the tongue. It hits the upper palate, awakening 84 meridian points. So all the organs, glandular system, and the muscles of the tongue, and the upper palate, the intuition, all are ignited, activated, and eventually, sisters and brothers and family and community, it works. But it doesn't, like the Dalai Lama, repeat, how about if happiness starts now?
Yeah.
Right now? How about if it's working for you right now? You don't have to negotiate and have the blueprint in
Yeah,
front of you
but
of
the
why.
discipline does pull us through challenge times, I must say.
Yeah, discipline does. And if you can do this every day, because I know, as you mentioned, there's a yoga class down the mountain for me if I had to go to one. I create it at home. I create a yoga studio here, wherever you are, in any corner of your home, in a closet even. I just took me back to my mentor where I went into a closet and meditated. And you would think, that there would have been a yoga space, but we all are looking for the place where we can find that silence, that love, ultimately that peace. And it's not in the chatter. But when we repeat Hariyat, 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 and then you see it expand your aura, and then you breathe again and Hariyat, 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 and you hold this tight. And what did we say? The right and the left come together. It feels like, that romantic Klimt painting of the oneness.
Well, the other thing about this is, let's say they start their discipline and their routine with you. You start to have these breakthroughs where all of a sudden you're just like you think you understand something. You're not always sure what it is, but it quiets some of the conversation you have within yourself. And then from there comes the intuition and the answers. But I think another important thing about this kind of study is you learn to wait for the answer. Like when I ask, why are we doing the same discipline? And she probably is doing more than I am. And it changes me, but it's not changing her. What in the heck is going on?
One would say it's none of our business.
Mm-hmm. But it was nice
In
to
a
get an answer.
very polite way. It would be like, I'll take responsibility if I'm understanding that, oh, this is where Karuna was saying, just let it come.
Mm-hmm.
Allow the spaciousness, the quiet, to be so loud that it reveals itself when you're doing your own discipline to become devotional
Right.
in a practice. You're on a mission. It is literally the missionary in the aspects, in the 9 aspects that we call in to bring the creator, to bring the true identity of you, of your authentic voice. And, Goddess forbid us to lose our voice, power, and love and joy. And there's so many chiefs
Yes. There really are.
and great, opportunities and wisdom galore. But if we're stuck in negative mind trying to control the group, and if the ego's so big, I'm sorry, that's old school.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about a new program, a path, the path of awakening inside of you, not me. I practice every day. I will not come with my demons to you today. And if that takes a 6-mile walk and a 2-hour sadhana and a cold shower and yogi tea, I'm going to do it because this conversation means a lot to me to
Right.
have it delivered to you and all of us out there.
We should add to that if you work that hard on your path, loneliness will go away because the one is
Disappears.
there.
Yeah, it just disposes itself. It's like, I'm joy now.
Yeah.
I'm light, like you said, I'm light. I want to drink that light
Mm-hmm.
every day, that nectar, and you dang well deserve to drink that nectar. It's your body. It's your ideas, inspirations, connections of community, grabbing people you don't know and saying, hi, like I did in Paris at age 19, and they went like, oh. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this life? When you come from Boulder, Colorado, and you're like, football coach's daughter, you know,
It's a big
and you get
change.
in every game, but you're
Mhm.
also the cheerleader who's running, the energy of the group. It starts early with your children and with our inner child. And there's this longing because there's divorce,
Right.
there's death, there's trauma. And and that's why I offer the trauma course, the healing grief, because when we can tap in and understand and listen to this trauma, that's part of our mission. So the protector cares, the devotee becomes, and let me just say that the enthusiasm builds. And then what happens? We find the creator inside of us and
And
around
I
us.
would say, in somehow or other, those stories of trauma are slowly or quickly rewritten depending on what's going on in your life.
You understand them so much more, as you just said, differently. Yeah, they're rewritten. And
Hmm.
there's a compassion. Karuna means compassion. And it doesn't mean, oh, I'm compassionate when I get that name. No, it means you have a lot of work to do to become, understand what compassion really means. There's many goddesses. There's Durga, and she really pulls on your hair and your heartstrings. There's Kali that burns. So we cover in these courses all that. And you talked about, brought trauma back. This is so important to understand where the trauma gets stuck. And it gets stuck in the psoas, it gets stuck in the hips, it gets stuck in the digestive tract, and traps you in the gut. So then you've got that reflex going on when you try to eat something. You can't digest the food. So there's techniques that I will share during the trauma, the healing grief courses that come in an angle. And as you said, change the mindset around it. But physically, when we work on the 10 bodies I mentioned, we do specific breath holding posture. And whether you can do it or see yourself doing it or use a chair or lay down the whole time and just listen, it's all about the participation and the devotion. Yeah. It's just such a great
And then
conversation.
whatever you're supposed to do from there, you will figure it out.
And we will figure it out
Hmm.
with you. But we won't tell you what to do because it's none of our business.
That's what I meant. People will ask for more specific directions in my class, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you have to do this 10 times or you have to use that color. I said, I count on your discretion with these things.
And please, I invite your conversation to teach me.
Hmm.
When I went to the Santa Monica schools and taught the high schoolers, they were like, we don't know what you're talking about and we ain't doing that. And I was like, what do you like to do? And they said, hip hop. And I'm like, next class, you bring the CD player. This is in the late 90s. You bring the CD player and the CD and put it in and you teach me hip hop then. Because I want to learn what you got.
Hmm.
Whatever that is, I want that. It's in
Right.
my book, I say that. And it's exactly the way I work with people to give them, teach me. I'm just curious. It's a woman's deal to be curious, a divine
Yes.
feminine.
I'm too curious, but I'm always curious. Oh, I
All the
wanted to, I
time.
wanted to ask you, I saw something that throughout your life you've asked too many difficult questions, or life has made you ask a lot of difficult questions.
Hmm. Yes.
How
What
would
a
you
great.
define that? Because I've had that too, but I'm just interested in someone else with the same experience.
I love that. I forgot said that. I think intuitively I see, because of my own suffering, I see the suffering in others. And all I want to do is ask, how are you? And that's a difficult question for people. And especially your parents or your siblings or your
Yes,
partner,
it
because
is.
they're like, oh no,
Mhm.
you know,
Don't start on that.
yeah, and they shut you down.
Hmm.
So you have to find another way to ask it.
Agreed.
Whenever my mom would ditch me or my dad or somewhere, I'd always find them.
Hmm.
It was, we have a gift of intuition, and we have the power of love and prayer and tenacity and curiosity to not insult people when we ask them these difficult questions, because we've asked ourselves and we've sat with that question first.
Right. Now, here's a fun question that you and maybe
Okay.
our listeners will like. And that is that let's assume, if you're not sure, you can assume that there's such a thing as reincarnation. So why did you choose your parents? I asked myself that and just got some amazingly wonderful answers.
And
You want to hear some of them?
yeah.
Okay, well, I grew up really close to the earth on a big farm. I learned things like how different fields smelled, how the dirt felt, how to tell what was happening that day from animal tracks, how to fish and go out on a pond because we had a big pond, what it's like in the spring to go out and pick fruit with your family and everybody's laughing, things like that. Those were wonderful, wonderful things. And everyone in my family loved poetry. And some nights everyone would come over and read their favorite poem. And they loved it so much that sometimes they would weep if it was a new, beautiful poem.
Oh, do we not love Julia? I mean, honestly,
Well,
can we be on that farm?
before I got that, I would think of my parents and I would think, and this bad thing happened and they should have done this or that. But when I asked myself that question, all the love came up.
Yeah. It was so important for all of us to just close our eyes and see Julia's farm and see the soil and see the freshness of the air and the flowers. See the gathering at night to be together, to drink tea, to sit on each other's laps or close by and hug a sister or a brother or a friend or whoever, mother or father, doggy, cat, and feel the poetry in motion of you, my friends out there. Please honor that visual right now, because every one of us has a good story
Hmm.
to
A good story
share.
about our early life, whether we remember it or not.
Dad taught me to pee in the woods. He put me on his back, and and we were squatting the 4 crumb grinders, my brothers and sisters and I, in the woods because we had to be.
Hmm.
So, and we were raised with an understanding, that we were together. I say we because I had a sister and two sisters above me and a brother below me. You might know who he is, NFL football coach, superstar, hilarious brother I used to call Sally Ballerina. Chuck Pagano is his name. And now the guys are coming towards the woman who's listening to this and going,
Right.
she's Chuck's sister, you know, because football was how I was raised. I was raised with a football, and I can throw a football. And at the time, girls weren't playing football. But, there was this camaraderie and this closeness of siblings that you're talking about in that atmosphere. And it was, mom was an opera singer. So go figure.
Mhm.
The artist you're speaking of, within and around me, I became a model in New York. I modeled with the best photographers that were at that moment and still alive and still famously, Arthur Elgort, for one, was, you can look him up, and his son is a big actor, and his daughter, and and he founded me from
Mhm.
Paris. And the whole thing had to be, taking me by the hand to Mademoiselle magazine and sitting down with a book of French Vogue, all made up, and Mademoiselle was as natural as you could get. And Arthur said, "This is her book, but that ain't her." So if we're talking about seeing through the veil,
Right.
he saw my spirit.
Yeah.
And he started my career in New York City with Eileen Ford, and I went on for 8 years, and ended up marrying a man who moved me to London. And then I went to the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School because there was something driving the spirit. And in that, dear sisters and brothers, I had a loss of a sibling. And it was when I was going to New York. It was the month before. So it's always like crisis happens and gives you an opportunity to keep moving through it.
We remember that's what Yogananda said. His sister died. And that was
Yes.
when he moved into devotion and pretty much renounced his wealthy life.
Love Yogananda.
And me
Thank you
too.
for bringing him in. Exactly what happened to me. And I didn't know that. Thank you, because when I looked up and I was, going on auditions and interviews with the highest end people in New York City and all over the world, and creating a portfolio, and, going to dinner with the Reagans, because Arthur was photographing Nancy Reagan at the time, and meeting Heinz Ketchup, and all these politicians and people. I was just innocence from Boulder still, even though I spent the first year in Paris building
I
that
find it remarkable that you lost your sister and you managed to go forward with all of that.
One thing I'll share with you about this, and everyone, I'm so glad I kept her alive and me to this day.
Mhm.
Hun, and so is she. I stop in my track and say, "Okay, I'm taking the hug. I'm in a hurry, but I'm taking the hug."
Yeah.
I stop because I feel her. When I think of her, I stop. And it's
Well, the
every
dead
day.
are never far away. They're just in another room.
Yes. And helping us.
Yes, all of them.
So with loss, with death of a parent, with loss of any loss, we must remember their
What if you were happy
soul
now?
is what is whispering. What if you were happy now?
Hmm.
What if you knew I could actually help you more than I could then, now? And that to me is not woo woo
No, we're
or
all connected
greeny.
on
Yeah,
both fields.
yeah.
Okay, well, we're coming to the end right now. So why don't you tell them where they can find you and find your path of awakening?
The path of awakening can be found on Light on Kundalini, lightkundalini.com. And that's the course. I've got an early bird special on it. We're upgrading it to a bigger course. So come join me September 22nd. Let's run it for 12 weeks with this early bird admission. And also YouTube. everything, I made it very simple for everybody. Light on Kundalini. So it's either Instagram at Light on Kundalini, and every Sunday we can meet 9 o'clock Mountain Time, dear ones, and for a free class by donation. Always good to give. And give and give. And now on TikTok, Julia, I did 28 TikTok videos on the 4th of July, and I'm posting them all from the launch on 8/8 for prosperity.
That's wonderful.
And at that moment, I had 3 followers. So come on, everyone, go to TikTok and tell
We'll
your
find
friends.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, so everyone who's listening, grab this chance at awakening and picking up a really great discipline with Karuna. And you can find me at onetrueself.com, onetrueself.com. You can read about the wolves. You can find me for classes or newsletter. So I hope to hear from you. Namaste.
Namaste. Satnam.
Thank you for listening to the Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia Griffin to master a higher frequency for a new state of mind. Join us next time as Julia takes us deeper into the memory of the moments of light where transcendence and enlightenment emerge. The memory of the jewel of consciousness has always lived within you to tap into waves of energy and create huge changes by imagining the beauty of the vision and desires that are hidden in the heart. Learn to find your way back to nature, beauty, and your own heart, which holds the secrets of your existence and future. To discover more about Julia's adventures, animal communication, and the teachings she brings to every show, visit onetrueself.com. That's onetrueself.com. That's ONE, trueself.com.